Welcome, everyone. It is the OTFB Football Podcast. I am Dana. That is Sonia, and Kate will be here any minute. She's just running a little bit behind. You guys, this is our favorite show of the year, and I will tell you, we love the Pick'em show because we love that we're wrong. We love that we jump at things that maybe we shouldn't jump at, but we don't care. We love that the Jags fans absolutely stuffed the ballot box today on our poll. It was so fun.
That was awesome.
Loved every minute of that. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. So welcome everyone to the OTFB Football Podcast. Lisa was supposed to join us. Sadly, she's not going to be able to. She had a little family thing that came up. So I have her division picks. She at least gave me the division picks. So I have them. There's Kate. Hello, Miss Kate.
Hello. I only got the link you just sent. I didn't get the.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know the other one said. So I have to send a link, everyone, and apparently it was stuck. But so she sent me her division. She didn't give me the order. She just gave me who was going to win the divisions. So I'll be able to throw that in there. I looked up a whole bunch of other people who really, it's going to be like crazy out there because there's not too many people who agree except for on a handful of divisions. So that's going to be really fun. So I am excited and we appreciate that you guys being here with us because football starts in 2 days, people. 2 days. We have the Bills and the Rams in 2 days. And I'm very, very excited about that. All right. So obviously Kate is here. Sonia's here. I am here. Let's get rolling because this show will be just a little bit longer than normal. I say that, but all of our shows are long. So what does it really matter? All that much? I don't know. So, but I want to go ahead. What we do, this is how we're doing this, everyone. We are going to do each individual division. We're going to do the AFC, and then we're going to do the NFC. Then we're going to talk about the championship games. Okay. We do not require that anyone puts their Super Bowl winner in there because there's so many variables, right? And Super Bowls I always think are like just a toss-up. So hopefully you guys will be able to follow along. Please, if you're watching us on Twitter, come to YouTube because we have a live chat and we pull in like our good friend Graham here, who's always here. 1 a.m. it is for him in England, and he's in the UK. I don't know if it's England, and he still manages to come over. And so we put up your comments. We will let you argue with us. We love that. So come on, come fight with us. We prefer that way. All right. So let's go ahead and start. Kate,
hang on.
Oh,
we have to talk about our food.
Our sponsor. Why? I'm just too excited. Donkeys, I'm sorry. I'm just too excited about the Pick'em show. I get too wound up. Oh my gosh. We want to thank Donkeys Cheesesteaks for which we had a nice comment online today. It said that their cheesesteaks were delicious. They had been there and that was really good.
Yes.
But Donkeys Cheesesteaks, they are in New Jersey. Best cheesesteaks in New Jersey. I know. It's hard to say. They are in. We ready? Mount Holly.
Yes.
Okay, Sonia, you're
Camden.
next. Camden. Okay, what's the last one?
Medford.
You almost had it.
I know Camden. I'm in charge of Camden.
That's hilarious. All right, well, thank you. Thank you very much to Donkeys for sponsoring us. Okay, we're going to go right out the gate. AFC North. We're going to rock it. All right. Sonia, I want you to go first. And I have our poll pulled up so we can look at that too. But
very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was slightly, because I really, really want. Okay, there we go. I was muted for some reason. I really want Lamar Reed to have a really good year this year.
Lamar Jackson?
Yes, Lamar Jackson. I don't know what's wrong with
we're
me
just
today.
starting now.
Yes. I really want him to have a great year this year. And, I think that the Ravens are getting a lot of healthy people back. And so they're really going to be there. But I think in the end, it's going to go to the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win the AFC North this year.
Right. So then who comes in second for you? The Bengals then? The Ravens then?
Yeah, second is the Ravens.
Yeah. Do you have the Steelers?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say the Steelers and the Browns.
Steelers and the Browns, kind of a toss. If we're going straight quarterback play, I think I have a little bit more confidence in Mitch Trubisky than Mr. Brissett, but you never know. You never know.
This is gonna kill Kate. This is gonna kill her.
It's gonna
Okay,
kill
well,
Kate.
all right. So we got one for the Bengals.
Yeah.
So let me tell you on mine, I think the top is going to be very tight. I think it's going to be it's going to come down to one game. I actually have the Bengals winning the division 12-5, the Ravens coming in 11-6. I could see those flipping very easily. I'm not stuck on one or the other. I really would like to see Lamar Jackson get the money he deserves and watch that happen. But I just feel like the Bengals are running that high and they're going to get better in this next year. And they added some really good pieces for the Bengals. So I have then the Steelers coming in 8-9, the Browns coming in 6-11. Now, Kate, let me tell you why. I don't know that they'll be able to recover enough at the end of the season. And this is nothing against Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett. I've been fighting for him forever, right? I just think that with the schedule they have in the division they're in, that this is going to be real tough at the beginning of the year for them. So that is where I'm at. Kate, it is all yours. It's your division. You go.
It's the Bengals. I don't even know why it's a conversation. They went to the Super Bowl last year, and they're bringing everybody back. Bengals. And I don't care who finishes second, third, or fourth because it won't matter. I think the AFC is good enough that there's going to be a couple divisions, obviously, with two teams going, maybe even one with three, and it will not be the AFC North. They will send one team to the playoffs, and that is the Bengals. The rest of them aren't good enough to go. And that includes my Browns.
I am just really interested in the Ravens with a full season of Lamar Jackson. I think last year would have been a little different. I like the way that team's put together. There's definitely some issues there still. It's not like I'm pretending that there's not issues with that team.
There are. And while Lamar has definitely expanded his game, he's not just a running quarterback. He can throw. Right. Defenses have had a whole season's worth of film of seeing how he has expanded his game. And I think he's going to have a much harder time this year.
Could be. And defenses are evolving just as fast as offenses. People don't think that they're not, for sure. All right. So all three of us, we have an agreement. Well, let me tell you who doesn't agree with us. Wait. Lisa says the Ravens. The Ravens and Graham. So Lisa and Graham have gone with the Ravens. Of course, we don't have Lisa's explanation other than, let me guess, it's a quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. It's got to be the quarterback, right? That's what she always says. So for sure, that is what it's going to be. Okay. Let's move on to the Oh, I forgot our poll. Hold on. Oh. Our poll with 399 votes. Really? One more person couldn't vote? Make it an even 400 people? Come on. So the Bengals are winning 52%. The Ravens coming in second at 39%. The Browns at 6% and the Steelers at 3%. So little more faith in the Browns. But the Bengals.
Not much considering we have a really large audience of Browns fans that like to vote on our poll. And even we know. 6% of us were drunk this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe it was some other team and they were just giving you the benefit of the doubt. You never know. But
okay.
All right. So let's go now to the AFC South. The Colts, Titans, Jags, and Texans. Okay, you guys. Okay. I don't know what happened today. So we put out a poll for each division because we wanted to, ask our listeners and our fans what they thought things were going to happen. The Jags fans ran away with it. So our average poll, the other poll is 399, 325, 457. So about the same amount of votes, except for this AFC South. Hold on. Let me find it. It's right here. Let me get to it. Hold on. I got to get to it. It was like 1,600 votes.
Yeah.
The last time I looked. It was some crazy number. Oh my gosh, we had so much conversation today. I've lost it in there. So Sonia, why don't you start? You tell me where you're at with the South and why.
The Jags fans are really making me start to believe in this team.
I know, right? Me too.
Right? But I'm going to have to go with the Colts. I think that they have Matt Ryan, his experience. I think they've got a nice little group team of players. They've got Jonathan Taylor. They've got a pretty decent offensive line. Quentin Nelson's coming back, I do believe. So I'm going to go with the Colts this year.
Well, let me tell you that Cushy Baby agrees with you. Let's go Colts. Let me guess. They're a fan, but that's okay. That's a good thing. And then Graham says the poll voters are drunk. So that's hilarious because that's what they do. Love it. That poll was crazy. Yeah. So who do you have coming in second and third, fourth?
Second will be the Titans because Derrick Henry and they're just good. Third will be the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars have the pieces. I think they're going to start to put it together. I think Doug Peterson is going to try and bring it all together. I think Sunshine finally will have a decent coach to work with and really start to shine. So I think that they're getting there, but not yet. So Jags third, Texans fourth.
All right. Sorry. Kate, what about you? What does this division look like for you?
Isn't Ryan Tannehill still in Tennessee?
He is, as a matter of fact.
I am taking the Titans to win this division. Sorry. I'm picking the Titans. I don't care if they came in last in the poll. I'm looking at the poll. 1,582 votes. Y'all, Duval, I love you. I love you. Jags in second. They're not ready to win the division. They might have enough talent, but they're not ready and mature enough to win the division. They'll come in second. And then I don't care what you want to do with the Colts, probably third. The Texans will be picking top 5 in the draft next year. I don't know if they'll win 3 games. So Titans all day.
Camden says Jags Twitter is underrated. I think she's right. Agreed. People say, do they have fans? They have fans. Yeah, like they came out. It was so much fun. They had a great time. You're right. 1,582 votes. Jaguars at 68%. God love them. Colts at 21%, Titans at 9%, Texans at 2% for the poll. So here is what's interesting to me in this division. I once again, I think this is going to happen a lot, or maybe it's just me being coughing out. I don't know. But I have the Colts at winning the division at 10-7. I think Matt Ryan has that big of an impact. I think he is that much better than Carson Wentz. And not to be disrespectful to Carson Wentz, but Matt Ryan has just kind of been there. He's done that. He knows how to play this game. And yes, he lost the Super Bowl. We get that, but he'll get better. But I have the Titans then coming in right behind them at 8-9. And so it just depends on who stays healthy and how they play each other in these games. I do still like Ryan Tannehill. I think we know what we get out of Ryan Tannehill. I know what we're going to expect out of him. But I do think that between him and Henry, they have enough power to kind of fight for that division. That is not to disrespect the Jags. Go ahead.
If Derrick Henry stays healthy, look out.
They're winning.
He's the key to that whole division. Is if he gets hurt, it's up for grabs.
I completely agree. So, all right. Then I have the Jags coming in at 6-11, the Texans at 5-13. And I think that 6-11 and 5-13 are big improvements for these teams, just because I think we'll see the team get better. I think they still have to work out a few kinks. I have to think Doug Peterson's going to need one more year, one more draft. And then I think that they'll start to fight for that division. But I'm fascinated to see what happens with would you call him Sunshine? Is that what you call
Trevor
him?
Lawrence?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I like that she called him Sunshine. That's like Michelle Jinks last week just kept calling Jimmy Garoppolo gorgeous. Well, gorgeous is really this. It was so funny. So, but I think his development this year is going to be the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
The Jags team. So, thank you, Jags fans. We appreciate the support.
Love you.
Who did Lisa pick?
Lisa picked the Colts. I think a lot of people are high on them this year. All right, so let's go to the East. Well, let me just say, this wasn't even close in my department, but we're going to, Kate, I want you to go first on the East, the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets. How are you feeling about the East?
Again, another division with 2 teams that are going to be making a run to that top 5 draft spot for next year with the Jets and the Dolphins. I've definitely got the Bills winning the division. But I've also got the Patriots doing well enough with 11 wins that they're going to get themselves into the playoffs as well.
Okay.
So it may not matter, especially if they end up seeing each other in the playoffs, because even though Tom Brady is no longer in New England, there's just a thing about when those teams play each other in that division, and the Bills could get an easy walk to the playoffs and then come up against the Patriots if things play out. So yeah, I've got the Bills taking the division and with the Patriots a close second.
Sonia, what about you?
Agreed. I think the Bills, like I said at our pick or at our when we drew names out of a hat, I think this is their year. This is their year. And that addition of Von Miller, I think that just kicks it up an extra notch. So yeah, I got the Bills winning the division. I think the Patriots will be coming in second. Dolphins, then the Jets.
This wasn't hard for me. I don't think it was hard for anyone. This is one of those teams where it's like, of course they're going to win, right? I'm sorry, I just read. So Graham says, with gritted teeth, I say the Bills, but then in turn he says, I used to like this show. Sorry, Graham. All right. Well, here's the thing. I have the Bills being the best team in football this year. I have them going 14-3. I have them just kind of running away with this. I think it's going to be running straight to the Super Bowl with it. I said it last year and they almost got there. Just saying. So then I have the Patriots rolling in at 8-9. They could squeeze into the playoffs. The AFC is so heavy. I don't know, but it's possible. I have the Dolphins at 7-10. Tua is fighting for his life, in my opinion, right now. If he wants to still be on this team this year, he needs to really show up this year. And I'm not 100% sure if he can do that because we haven't seen it yet. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Just haven't really seen it yet.
Is that his choice? If he wants to be here, it's up to him. Because this is one of those teams where I feel like the front office doesn't love their quarterback and would be just fine if they end up picking top of the draft next year and getting CJ Stroud or someone else. I just don't feel like they believe in him regardless of what he can do on the field.
Agreed.
Well, we don't know, right? This is hipster homebrewer's first year. So we don't know what he's going to get and how he's going to react. Maybe he does really like him. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike McDaniel. Sorry, you guys. That's what I call the Dolphins. For those new listeners, that's what I call the Dolphins head coach.
We got hipsters and sunshine. We're
hipsters, sunshines, and gorgeous. I don't know. We don't know how he feels about him, right? I mean, he's kind of new. Maybe he's just kind of sitting back, waiting to see if he can tweak the offense to his strengths yet. And that's going to be, I think, the fun for Dolphins fans this year is that they get to watch the development of the coach along with the quarterback and see if they mesh. If they don't, it'll be done. I'm not sure. And the Jets, I still think they're I don't think they're there. I like Robert Saleh a lot. I just don't think he's quite there yet. All right. Lisa, she picked, who did she pick?
I think
the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills. Yeah, I think it's a logical choice. I think this year, I think that's kind of a powerhouse team that's hard to get around. Okay. And they also won our poll, 538 votes. The Bills are 57% of our vote. Then the Patriots came in second, then Dolphins and Jets. So kind of right down the same line. I think that division is a little bit easier to see. It doesn't mean that it won't pop up and be crazy or fun. I just think it'll be a little bit easier. It's a little easier to see. Right?
I will go out on a ledge and predict that that's the only division that we all agree on tonight.
Oh, probably. As they start to get a little funky in the NFC. I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah. I think that's the only one where the four of us are going to agree. We'll see. We'll see.
Right. Cushy Baby also agrees with us with the Bills. Love that. All right. This one is the hard. I triple dog dare anyone to get this division right. I think it's going to be very hard. We're going to go with the AFC West, the hardest division in football this year. Also the hardest to predict. I think that I was looking these up. I was doing my research for this show. People are everywhere. I have seen every single team listed as being the winner of this division and every single team listed as the last place in this division. So I don't think people have any idea what to expect out of the West. Sonia, I'm going to start with you because that's just what I'm going to do. So you go first, Jared. Right. Why not?
So, I thought about it. I was like, Chiefs. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so this year. I think they're going to be in second place. I think the Chiefs are going to be in second. I don't think Russell Wilson and the Broncos are going to be there yet. I'm going to give them third place. I I think the Chargers are going to win this division. I think that Justin Herbert is good. He's evolving. He's evolving pretty nicely, and I think they've got some great pieces. Their defense is coming along. They picked up Khalil Mack in free agency. So I think the Chargers are going to come away with the division. I think it'll be a little bit closer than we think, but I think that the Chargers are going to win this division. Raiders are going to be in last place. Sorry, Kate.
Interesting. Well, we said that last year, and then look what the Raiders did. Okay,
I know.
Kate. Hold on. I'm going to Camden. And we just look at her picture, and that'll give you some inspiration. Broncos are going to be fourth and lose more games than the Seahawks. Camden, I'm with you. Go ahead. All right, Kate.
All right, so we're not picking the Raiders this year.
No.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't feel it. And I'm done with Pat Mahomes. And I have 4
Lisa's head
fantasy
just
football
exploded
teams.
somewhere.
I know. I have 4 fantasy football teams, and 2 of them have Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert. So you would think I would be all about the Chargers, but I am telling you, fantasy points does not equate to wins and playoffs.
That's true.
I'm taking the Broncos. My dark horse, I think Russell is going to be the catalyst that they need. They have been so close the last couple years that I think he's going to catch a lot of teams by surprise. And they have underwhelmed and underperformed based on what they should have been able to do. And I'm just kind of feeling lucky with this division, and I think it's the Broncos. And no, there is no vodka in my tea. It's just tea.
Maybe there is. No, here's the thing.
You
Here's
sure?
The thing I could talk about the Broncos. I don't want to. I feel like I've done nothing but talk about Russell Wilson for the last week, and I'm tired of talking about Russell Wilson. But,
by the way, side note, I missed last week's show, and y'all went on and on about Carolina playing the Browns. And when they brought up the Seahawks playing the Broncos, you're like, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. And y'all moved on to the next topic. I'm like, this is what happens when I miss a show. Because I would have said, yeah, I don't need to talk about it.
Well, we saved you from having that conversation.
Yes.
Cool.
You did. Thank you. But anyway,
Yeah, you're welcome.
who are you picking?
So in this division, I have the Chiefs winning still. I think that they are still kind of the top, but I have the Chargers right behind them, nipping at their heels. And I think that I fully expect, okay, this is my full-fledged thought here. I fully expect the Broncos to beat the Chiefs at least once of their 2 games. I expect that to happen finally, which Broncos fans will be thrilled about. If they don't and they lose twice to the Chiefs, then the Chiefs are winning that division, no problem. Because these teams are going to beat the ever-loving snot out of each other, right? And so if they can manage to steal 1 game from the Chiefs, then the Chargers, I think, have that door even a little more open for them. If the Chargers lose to the Broncos lose to the Chiefs twice, I think the Chiefs end up with it. I think that's how close this division is going to be. I fully expect all 3 teams from this division to go to the playoffs. I don't think that's any question. So I have the Chiefs at 12-5, the Chargers at 10-7, the Raiders at 10-7. And the reason, and that could be 1 up, 1 down, depending on how this division falls. I have the Broncos coming in at 9-8. And the only reason why I say that is new quarterback, new head coach. And the difference though, new quarterback, I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of the same type of offensive system that Russell has played in the past. And so teams will already know how to scheme for that a bit. And the Broncos defense was not fantastic last year. They made some additions to that, but there's still some trouble there. This is the one division you cannot have a questionable defense. So that's why I think but that's how tight I have it. 12-10, 10-9. I think it's going to be that tight. This is going to be the best division in football to watch this year. So I think everyone should keep their eyes on that. I think it will be very good. And then Graham has said he has gone with the Chargers, and Camden agreed with him because of that defense. Oh yeah, I can see that. So I think that will be fun. So our poll, with 405 votes, the Chargers won our poll at 40%. The Chiefs come in at 37%. And I think that's how tight it's going to be. Then we have the Raiders at 13% and the Broncos at 10%. I think that this division could have a shocker in it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders, I'm not going to be surprised if any one of these 4 teams win this division. Let's just put it that way. So, all right.
Did Lisa go Chiefs? This is my shocked face.
Of course she did. Bills, Colts, Chiefs, Ravens. And why? Quarterback. That's what she did. Right, Sonia, exactly.
She loves her some quarterbacks, boy. I tell you
she
what.
does. Let me tell you. I know. All right, let's move on to the NFC. We're going to go back to the North. Okay. We had a great response on Twitter today, and I should have written it down who said it. Someone said, who's going to win the North? And she said, Jon Snow. I was like, yes, Jon Snow is going to win the North. That is so true. Loved that response. So let's go ahead. Sonia, I'm going to start with you. NFC North, Vikings, Packers, Lions, and Bears.
Vikings, Packers, Lions, and Bears. Oh my. I don't have a strong feeling about anybody this year in that division. And I think the Packers are just kind of mumbly and jumbly, but up in the air. The Bears, I don't know. They just have a lot of pieces going on too, and I'm just not feeling them. The Lions, I think we're coming. We're getting better. We're improving, but I don't know if we're ready to make that jump to the division. And the Vikings, probably the most stable ones right now, but I don't trust Kurt a whole lot. I know he's gotten them to the playoffs, but I think right now I'm going to have to go with the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers until we hear anything different.
Like Michelle says, until I'm proven otherwise. Yep.
He's Aaron Rodgers. And, they usually will probably start off slow and then get it all together and, at the end of the season, make their little run. So I can see it being Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
All right. Kate, what about you?
Well, what's interesting is this division itself was a hot mess in the preseason. With the Bears going 3-0, the Vikings going 0-3, the other, the Lions and the Packers going 1-2. I mean, I know the preseason doesn't mean anything, but it's completely flip-flopped in this division. I've got the Vikings winning it. I think this is Kirk Cousins' year. And I'll be wrong again like I was last year because I just am not on the Aaron Rodgers train, and I should have believed in him last year, and I didn't. And apparently I haven't learned my lesson. I'm going Vikings first.
None of us have.
Vikings first, Packers second. I do think the Lions edge out the Bears. As much as I love Justin Fields, I think they're still gelling. They're still trying to figure out who and what they are. So I think it'll just be within a game or two. I don't think they're going to be a top 10 draft pick for next year. They're going to be, 7 wins, which is good in this division and considering where they've come from. But I've got the Vikings beating out the Packers.
Did you say you have the Bears getting 7 wins or the Lions?
Both.
I'm not sure the Bears are going to win 4 games. That team is a nightmare of a disaster right now. That poor kid. It just breaks my heart for him because I think Justin Fields is actually a talented quarterback. So that's crazy. Okay. Well, I also have the Vikings winning this division. And the reason why is because of Aaron Rodgers pissing and moaning about his wide receiver group and being Aaron Rodgers and getting stoned on whatever he was doing all offseason. I think Aaron Rodgers has checked out. He's in it for a paycheck now. He could give 2 craps. Does he want another quarterback or another ring? Yes, of course he does. He wants at least 1 other ring. Peyton got 2. He wants 2. But I still just don't buy that he cares enough to pull this team out without Devontae Adams to save him. And so I'm finding that very hard to put my finger on what the Packers are doing this year. Again, I'm happy to be wrong. I've seen a million people say they're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Like all this stuff. I'm like, really? The Packers? Really? Okay. So whatever. So I have the Vikings winning the division at 12-5. I think they're going to be very good this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that team. I have the Packers at 10-7. The Lions coming in at 7-10. I think this is going to be a big jump here for the Lions. I even on another podcast said that I would be thrilled if they were this sneaky in to the playoffs somehow or another. I think they're another year away from that, but I think they're getting there. And like I said, I have the Bears at 4-13. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do with what they have. So Graham says he's gone Vikings. Camden says, who is Aaron throwing to? Exactly. That is exactly it. So this division, which used to be easy to pick, I don't think is so easy anymore. I think it's starting to have some flex to it. So in our poll, 386 votes, the Packers won 66%. The Vikings came in 26%, Bears at 4%, and Lions at 4%. I just don't see it. I think this is the checkout year for Aaron Rodgers. I just really do. So we shall see. All right.
Who'd Lisa take?
Oh, I forget about Lisa. Sorry.
I'm making a spreadsheet. I'm listening. I know. I don't know why I asked. I should have just filled in.
Pick the Packers.
We should pick Lisa's because I can just fill in her.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at the quarterback rating for the team, and I'll just pick it that way.
QBR. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true. All right. So let's go south. We went north. Let's go south. So we have the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons. This was really interesting to research. There is a lot of different opinions on this division right now, which is interesting. I don't know. Okay, we'll see. So Sonia, I'm gonna have you go first.
Okay, cool. Again, until proven otherwise, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I have the Buccaneers winning the division. And honestly, I think there's going to be a little bit of a gap between the Buccaneers and the rest of the division. I don't think that Marcus Mariota is going to be able to do that much with the Falcons this year. Mm-hmm. I think I trust Jameis a little bit more than I do Mariota. Jameis with the Saints a little bit more than I do. And Baker, I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty dangerous, if you will. But they also have Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, I think it'll be Buccaneers, Panthers, Saints, Falcons.
All right.
Niles
interesting.
agrees.
Niles the puppy agrees. Yes, I love it. He only barks during the show. I love it.
Hey.
All right, Kate, what about you?
This one was easy for me because I think this division only sends one team to the playoffs, and it's the Buccaneers. I think I've lived with Baker long enough to know that team is already a hot mess, and the emotional whatever he's bringing with them and the Sam Darnold and all of that stuff is going to make it a mess as the season progresses. And I think Mariota and Winston are just going to eat at each other the whole season and have their own little private thing going on. And I'll be surprised if any of those three teams wins 8 games. So it's the Buccaneers winning the division and off to the playoffs as the only representative of the NFC South.
Yeah.
And it pains me because I can't stand Tom Brady.
I know.
He needs to just retire. Let somebody else have
How
a
shocked
turn,
were you guys that I picked him for my fantasy quarterback? How shocked were you? You must have been shocked.
I was shocked.
Yes, 1,000 out of 10 shocked.
Totally.
My God.
I told you in one of my leagues, and you'll be able to guess when I tell you this stat, that it's an all Cleveland area people league, is that the Browns defense and our kicker Cade York were both taken before Tom Brady in our fantasy draft 2 weeks ago.
I can believe that.
God. I figure it might be his last year. I better use him at least once in fantasy football. So I decided. All right. So looking at the South, I too have the Bucs winning this division at 10-7. I think that team is just put together better than the rest of the teams. Here's my question for you guys. Wasn't Jameis doing pretty well with the Saints before he got injured last year? See, I was going to look up those stats and I forgot to, but I don't know. I was kind of like going back and forth. Will a pissed off Baker Mayfield do better than the Saints? I couldn't decide. And it just kind of depends on how the Saints come back. But the Saints lost some pieces. And so I just am not as strong on that team anymore. So I have the Panthers at 9-8 doing well. And then the Saints 7-10. I have the Falcons at 3-14. I have them the worst team in football this year. And I think that's not a stretch for a lot of people this year, I don't think, but we'll see. Graham also went with Tom Brady, despite his offseason distractions. I don't think when you're a 45-year-old quarterback, there are no distractions. You know your job and you just do it. So yeah, I agree with that. So with our poll, we had 382 votes. The Buccaneers ran away with it, 85%. I don't think there's much of a question in that division, unless, of course, Tom Brady gets hurt, which he does. I'll be pissed because it's the one year I took him in fantasy. And then we have the Saints coming in second place, and then the Falcons and the Panthers came in last on our fan poll. So there's not a lot of faith there. I don't know if you can completely dismiss them depending on if Christian McCaffrey plays or not. So I think that will be a big one. Oh, this is a good point. Becky just said, but there's no Sean Payton calling plays. Yeah, you're right. To be honest with you, I had forgotten about that. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So we'll see.
I'm looking at Jameis's stats from last year. Mm-hmm. He played 7 games, had a QB rating of 102.8, which is the highest rating of his career. But he was also sacked 11 times. Oh, that's a lot in 7 games. If that offensive line hasn't gotten any better, that's not going to help him.
Right. He's not going to be able to.
You're 100% correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We're to the East.
Did Lisa go Buccaneers too? Do we have 2 divisions where we all pick the same team?
Yes, Bucks, of course. You are going to be able to pick every single one of hers. It's the obvious ones. I'm sorry my light died. I don't know what happened, but I hope you can still see me. So, yeah. Of course she did. Of course she did. And she will say Tom Brady. That's Lisa. God love her. Okay, so let's go East. I should have asked Michelle, but we all know what she would have said, right? So
yes.
Shut up, Graham. So Graham just says, nice job that you didn't forget Lisa again. I know. It's not my fault. I'm old and my brain's fried. Okay. This is my 3rd podcast today because I'm tired. Okay. So let's go East. Kate, I'm going to start with you in the East this time.
For me, this division was another no-brainer. And Lisa's probably going to agree with me. I'm going with Dakota and the boys down in Dallas. I've taken Dak in a couple of my fantasy leagues. I've looked at his projections this year. I've looked at their defense and what they've done in the offseason and how it looks. And then I look at, the Giants with Daniel Jones and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, right? But and I don't even know who's the quarterback of the Commanders. I can't keep track. I can't keep track of their names.
Carson Wentz.
He can't stay healthy. He can't stay on that. Wasn't he in that division before? Is he back in that division again? It just confuses me.
You're right. It's true.
He's at the Eagles, and he's with the Colts, and he's with the dude. Pick it. Once you leave your division, you can't come back. You can move in the division, but you can't go out and back again. I don't know. He won't stay healthy. He won't.
There are rules.
He'll be out. He'll be hurt by week 14. It won't matter. I'm going with the Cowboys, running away with the division. I like what they're doing. I like the way they finished up strong last year. And maybe I've just been doing too many of these with Michelle, but I'm all Team Dakota, girl.
That's awesome.
I probably jinxed them by picking them, so you can blame me, but I'm taking them.
All right. Sonia, what about you?
I'm Team Jalen Hurts. I'm Team Eagle. I am sold on the Eagles this year. I think, they got Jordan Davis in the draft. They got Jalen Hurts. He's going to be thrown to his old friend, Devontae Smith. So I think, he's going to have some good connections. I think until proven otherwise, which will probably come in week 2, that it's going to be the Eagles. I think it'll be Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and then the Giants. I have zero faith in the Giants right now. I think maybe if Saquon is healthy, they'll win a few games, But I really hope Saquon is actually healthy this year, the entire year, because I have felt bad because he really hasn't gotten a chance to really show what he can do. But yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah. So I too am Team Eagles this year. I have just read so much about the Eagles this year. I'm impressed with what they're doing. I'm impressed with what they've put together. They've made some great additions. And this is make it or break it for Jalen Hurts. And so I think he's going to just ball out this year. I'm excited to watch this Eagles team. But I have the Cowboys coming in right behind him. So I have the Eagles at 11-6 and the Cowboys at 10-7. So I think that it's going to be tight. Where it's not going to be tight are the Giants and the Commanders. I actually have the Giants coming in with 6-11, Commanders coming in at 5-12. This is why. Because by week 10, they'll realize that there is no saving this team. They have won 1 or 2 games. It's over. They're going to pick up the phone. They're going to call San Francisco and say, what do you want? I need to try and save this season and look for somebody next year. Either that, or they already have their eye on the rookies for next year, which I didn't get that impression. They're going to call Jimmy G's going to be on his way. He's going to be able to squeak out a few extra wins at the end of the season. And I think that's what could throw off the rest of this division a little bit if they get a different quarterback in New York. So I think that could be really.
And it depends on how early they pull that trigger. If the Eagles or the Cowboys struggle and this division is still really close, like week 8, I could see them going, this division's up for grabs. Let's go get us some.
Right. Especially like you said, if Saquon stays healthy, I think that could be a huge part. So you have a healthy Saquon, you have some other decent players, bring in Jimmy. If nothing else, it can't be worse. Right. And with the San Francisco making Jimmy's contract so much more tradable now and so much easier. And let's say Trey Lance is doing fine. We're going to talk about them next, but I could see that. I agree with you. I think that they could maybe sniff that might be the case. So in our poll, 369 votes, the Eagles won 63%, Cowboys at 31%, Commanders and Giants both with 3%. And no one has any faith in those other teams, even though the Commanders have some great players. But that quarterback situation is a disaster. So I don't know. It's real weird. All right. Oh, Lisa. Yes, Lisa. Remember Lisa. Who do you think Lisa picked?
The Eagles.
The Cowboys.
Oh, did she go Dakota?
She's all in. She's all in on the Dakota.
She
loved her some Jalen Hurts. I'm impressed that she went Cowboys.
Yeah. That defense. Yeah. They've definitely gotten better. I'm trying to find the AFC West. I'm sorry. Or the NFC West. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. NFC West. Last division. I told you guys this game was going to be this show was going to be a little longer. This is Camden just said, good job, Kate, for reminding me. Thank you, Camden. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's go West. Kate, I'm going to let you start.
I even
with
wrote
the
it
West.
Twice because I didn't know which way it would show. I'm like, which way is can people read it? So I wrote it backwards.
So silly. Oh my God.
I got you. All right.
NFC West? NFC West?
Yeah.
NFC West. Yep. Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals.
I struggled with this division like no other division. I'm going Rams, repeat, but I could see 3 teams out of this division getting to the playoffs. It's just, I think if Trey Lance is what he's supposed to be and if Jimmy doesn't cause issues, I think they're a 10-11 win team. And then the Cardinals are always in it. They've been, they show up and show out. So I'm going Rams. I got me a little bromance with Matt Stafford. He's like my feel-good story after last year. I just love him. I don't like some of the other people that got put on that team that left their other teams, but I love Matty, so we're good. It will come as no surprise to Dana when I tell you that I think the Seahawks will be last in that division, and that's fine because they could use a quarterback in the draft next year. From my lips to the football god's ears.
Yep.
If we're gonna be last, make me last for a cause. So
make me last, good and last. Make me really last.
Yeah. I think the Rams spent a lot of money last year, and I think they're still going to get some dividends from that this year, and they're going to take the division. It'll be close, but I think they're going to take it.
Interesting. Sonia, what about you?
I think pretty much about the same. I think that Rams for sure are going to win the division. I think everything is just going to fall together. And yes, we love our Matthew Stafford. So big ups to him. And Cooper Kupp is still there. So yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not going anywhere. So Rams, I think, if Trey Lance, I think that's my biggest if factor for the Niners. I think if Trey Lance is who he's supposed to be, then they'll be in second place. But I could also see if he's not who he's supposed to be, then I think it's Kyler the Creator. I'm sorry that I thought that was a really cool fantasy football name, Kyler the Creator. So I think it's going to be Kyler Murray and the Cardinals if Trey Lance isn't who we think he is. And yes, Seahawks are going to be in last place, but it's okay because you kind of want that, like you said, so that you can build for the future, and it'll be okay. Right. It'll be okay.
It'll be good.
I promise.
I'm no worried. I'm no worried.
Aaron Donald's coming back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Aaron Donald's coming back, right?
Aaron Donald's still on the team. That's your answer.
Like, we haven't mentioned him yet. I just thought I'd throw his name out there.
Because for sure. So interestingly enough, I also have the Rams winning. Here's my question to you guys. Who the hell is the backup quarterback for the Rams? Because if Matt Stafford's elbow keeps being what it is and giving him fits. Now, granted, they said he's had this problem for years, but doesn't that worry anybody else? So we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, and maybe not, right? Maybe he's going to
play through it. I mean, like, literally, he would have to be on the operating table for him not to play. Like, literally.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just been hurt over the years. I don't know. I worry about that. I feel like if you take away one piece, that's going to cause a lot of risk. So if you lose Matt Stafford or you lose Cooper Kupp or you lose Aaron Donald, those standalone pieces, that's going to cause a lot of havoc within that team. It doesn't mean they're not really, really, really good, because they are really good. And I think that they're going to win the division. I have them at 11-6. I have the Niners coming in second, but that is just because I have absolutely zero faith in the Arizona Cardinals. So I have the Niners coming in at 9-8. I don't know that this team is going to be very good. They have fantastic pieces, but their quarterback situation is completely unknown. We think we know what Trey Lance can do. We have never seen him do it. And so you have to give him a little bit of, a little bit of grace there. And I'm willing to. The kid might be great. I mean, he might have been worth trading 3 first-round picks away for. I don't even know, but we don't know that. So I don't know that they're going to come up and run away with it. But if he does well, or if they yank him early enough and put Jimmy in, then I think they'll probably get there. I actually have the Seahawks and Cardinals tied. I really, truly believe Seattle will win 5 to 7 games. I think the Cardinals are going to win 5 to 7 games. So where are they going to? And the reason why is they don't have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games. And there is still, from what I'm reading, what I'm seeing, a lot of tension within that team. They lost quite a few pieces, and we know how they finish seasons terribly. So therefore, I think that the Cardinals are not necessarily the team that people think they're going to be just because they paid Kyler Murray. That's not enough of a reason that the rest of them are going to be that good. So you only have then 10 games with DeAndre Hopkins, and it's the end of the season where they're not so good. So we'll see. Yeah, this is exactly right. Cardinals need to end their season on Thanksgiving, because Kingsbury always falls apart at the end of the season. So we'll see. And I do think simply on Seattle's run game and the consistency, and I'm not saying it's good consistency, but the consistency of Geno Smith getting to get to some people, I think that they'll probably, like I said, win 5 to 7 games. I will be fine if they win way less than that. I just want that out there for everyone to know. So Lisa has the Rams. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'm looking up stats because you asked about the depth chart. If something happens to Stafford, and I'm looking at their defense. I mean, it's not just Aaron Donald, it's Bobby Wagner, it's Troy Hill, it's Jalen Ramsey, and on offense, Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers. Their second string quarterback is John Wolford. If something happens to Matt midway through the season,
Camden told us, Wolford. I didn't even look. Yeah.
If something happens to Matt, do they make a play for Garoppolo? Do they call San Francisco and say, "Yo, put him in a car and send him"? Do it. You don't
There's
think?
no way. Why would you send your backup quarterback in division to a team that could then fall apart and you could win the division? I think that would be crazy. I think that would be crazy. But doesn't mean they won't make another call somewhere else. You know what I mean? So
I can't see them just sitting with Wolford as their backup.
Yeah.
They're going to be calling somebody somewhere.
Call Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hey, you want to come out the booth and come play for us?
He would too.
We'll see.
You sounded Canadian. Gosh. Hey, you want to come out the booth? And
Sorry, my Montana showed up a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's true. So in our poll, what's funny, I retweeted this poll like crazy, and my Seahawks people did not want to answer this poll. You can tell, because we only had 298 votes on this one. They have the Rams running away with it 80%. The Niners coming in with just 13%. The Seahawks and Cardinals at 3% and 4%. So I think it's pretty obvious who the dominant is at the top there. I think that's no big shock. And Lisa, of course, picked the Rams. All right, guys. So I'm just going to let you know because I didn't ask you guys to do this. So if you didn't do it, it's fine. I have, for the AFC, I have the Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Colts, Ravens, and Raiders going to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I had to count it. Sorry. Make sure I had everything going to the playoffs. For the NFC, I have the Vikings, Rams, Eagles, Bucks, Cowboys, Packers, and Niners. The Niners is questionable, but it's possible. And my AFC championship game is going to be the Bills and the Ravens. I have a feeling we're going to have quite the quarterback battle in that one, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So that's my prediction for the AFC. For the NFC championship game, I have boring old Rams versus Bucks, because I just think that's probably where we'll end up with this division. Not that one of these other teams couldn't make a run for it. I've seen a lot of people say it's going to be the Packers against the Niners, which I just can't see both those teams pulling this out. But so I think it's going to be, especially as long as Stafford stays healthy, the Rams and Bucks. All right. Who do you guys have going to the championship games?
I've got AFC championship between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
And I've got the NFC championship, Dallas Cowboys against the LA Rams.
Oh.
And I'll do a coin toss on both of those games because I can't pick a winner of either of them at this point.
I think it's impossible to pick them. Like, you can expect what teams are going to get there, but you don't know what they're going to look like or injury wise. I think that's really hard. Yeah. I can see. I'm interested in your faith in the Cowboys. I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention to them this year, I think. And just because it's Jerry, I don't pay much attention to them, but I'm going to have to kind of take a look at that a little bit more. Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Sonia, what about
matchups are
you?
going to be a big thing for them. If they hit the wrong team in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, they're out. If they can it depends on the seeding, and there's a couple teams like that. I think the Bengals are like that. As much as I love them, I think there are going to be certain teams this season that are just going to give them a hard time. And if they can avoid them, like if they can avoid the Ravens in the playoffs, so much the better. But they like to put the division people in those wild card games. So
that's exactly what I thought last year. What that happened to the Bills, because they ran into the Chiefs instead of the Bengals. And I didn't think, I thought if they'd played the Bengals, they would have won that game. And so I think I just think that it's very, that plays such a huge factor. And I don't know that it always gets the credit that it deserves, for sure. Sonia, what about you?
All right. So I think for the AFC championship, I think it's going to be Bills and Bengals, honestly. I think that just those two teams I think they're the two best teams in the AFC right now. So I think it's going to be them. And then in the NFC, bless you, Kate, I don't understand your love for the Cowboys right now either. But I
love it, though. But
I mean,
we didn't understand your love for the Raiders last year either. Remember,
that is true.
It was insane.
So maybe it is the Kate, not jinx, but the Kate blessing, if you will. I don't know. But in the NFC, I really can't see anybody else but the Bucks and the Rams too. I'm trying to think, but I just don't see it.
Yeah. I think you're just going to have that Tom Brady against that defense. And I think that's going to be just crazy. I really think that this could truly be Tom Brady's last year. I think with all the stuff we have heard on the side, I think that maybe some peace was kept within his family by saying, this was it. I'm 45. I'm done. But maybe not. But if so, I think he's going to play even harder than he has before. So I think that that team's going to be really difficult to beat, for sure. I think Graham. So he said, the Colts beating the Bills in the AFC Championship, because I said that the other day. When I had to pull him out the hat, I said, so I'm going to stick with that. Graham, I'm going to change my story right now. That's right. That's awesome.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think this year I think there's some really obvious top tier teams this year. Yeah. I don't think that there seems to be a bigger divide than there has been. The and the AFC especially, but definitely in the NFC too. But we all know, as we say every year on this show, it's all shiny on paper until you actually have to play the game, because you never know that, who's going to get hurt, who's going to, get traded. You don't know any of that. So I think that it's really important to keep that in mind. I also know that there's going to be a race for the bottom, and that is because of the really good quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft next year. And so I don't believe in tanking. I don't think any NFL team actually believes in tanking. But I do see strategic losing. Maybe that's a nicer way of putting it. I think they'll
salary
be
cap saving.
Yes, exactly.
Salary
or
cap.
trade out of nowhere. That why would they do that? Oh, I don't know, because that college football players won the Heisman, whatever it may be. But so I think that that could definitely happen too. But so we'll have to see. But you guys, I'm excited for this season, and I know that's weird. And I did a Seahawks podcast earlier today, and I said, I was asked, well, how can you be excited about this season? Because to me, I'm so ready for something new and different, and I think it'll be very fun. So even if your team is not, going to be great, there's always something fun to look for. So I think that that'll be really, really good. And really enjoyable for Seahawks fans. Some of us, not everyone. Not everyone's going to like this at all. So, and Sonia, I think your Lions are an upward trajectory. I think it's just amazing.
So.
Yeah.
Hard Knocks has been funny and great.
I love that show. I love that coach. I mean, I want him to bite some kneecaps. Like, I'm all in. And Kate, I think that your team is going to struggle this year with PR and all the other good stuff. But you know what? Eventually it will calm down, right? It's got to.
Yeah, it's going to go away.
We just got to get through week 1.
And then when he comes back. But yeah.
And then 11 more weeks. Then I got a nice quiet 11 weeks.
But that's it, right, Kate? And that's what I said too. I'm so glad that this Broncos game is the first week of the season. I'm so glad for you that this Panthers game is the first week of the season, because then you don't have to talk about it anymore, right? Then you can
Plus, I'll be out of the country, so I won't even be allowed to watch it. So I won't have to hear all the commentary every time Baker does something good. I guess Cleveland shouldn't have let him go. You know what? Shut up.
Yeah. I know, because you know what? She agrees with you. Shut up. Yes. Right. Yes, for sure.
I'm also taking suggestions on what number to add to my tattoo. True.
That is not true, Graham. We have not bashed the Dolphins at all. I like hipster home brewer. He's great.
You want us to show you what bashing the Dolphins looks like. I mean, we talked about tanking the season. We didn't bring up any of that other stuff about
That is true.
We didn't bring up the Florida
and
stuff.
Deep down inside, I really do want Tua to have a decent year, because I felt awful for the kid.
I want them to commit to him. So I need him to have a good year so that hipster homebrew can take him. But seriously, I have a 6 on my Browns tattoo, and I need to add a number to it because I can't just have a 6 anymore. So I don't know if I'm going to go 16, 26, 30. I'm taking suggestions. Is there another number that ends in 6 that people like that I should do?
What's Myles Garrett's number? He's
95. I don't know if I could turn my 6 into a. I guess if I flipped upside down, it would look like a. Never mind.
All right, we've lost the plot here, people. We've lost the plot.
I'm just trying to get us to a whole hour. We've never hit the hour mark before. We always end earlier.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Hold on. We just got a comment, and I want to see which team it's about. It's from Ian Brooks. It says, I'm pretty sure 11 sacks in 7 games is less than 2 sacks per game, so that's pretty good, not bad. Oh, I bet you're talking about the Saints. Okay.
Yeah, the Saints.
You know what? I'm ready for Jameis. I want to see what he can do. I've always been a fan. I was a fan of Jameis when he played for the Bucs. I like that kid, and I hope that he gets. I'm so glad they got rid of the whole weird quarterback competition thing that was going on with Hill. So I'm glad that he gets.
And
that.
he's got what now? Michael Thomas will be back. He'll have Chris Olave, who is insane. So I mean he's got Alvin Kamara or whatever is going on with him until he doesn't have him. So I mean there's pieces there, and I don't see why not.
Yeah.
To Ian's point, anything more than 1 sack a game is offensive to me. But I will say the year before he played 16 games and was sacked 47 times. So I guess 2 a game is an improvement over 3 a game. But his line
that's
didn't
the
do
line.
him any
That's
favors.
probably on the line. Yeah, the line. Or him running, because sacks on a quarterback can be a quarterback's fault. We know that too.
Right.
So
True.
yeah. Yeah, I predicted the Saints to beat the Seahawks when we went through each game. So I have no problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. All right, everyone. We will be back next week to talk about the first week of the season. I'm tired. So sorry, you guys. And so meet us here. We'll be back here Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central. And we don't usually go a full hour. It's just this show takes a little bit longer. So we want to thank all of our chatters and the people came in to chit chat with us on there. Anyone who watches on Twitter, please come over and talk on YouTube. We love to interact with people. And so please come on over and do that with us. I know it's easy to watch it on Twitter and I appreciate everyone who does, but come talk with us. So, all right. We will see you guys next week and hope everyone has a great week one. Bye-bye, everybody.